What up, YouTube? Back at it again with another video. We have who?
Christopher Rice.
What place did you get, Ray?
I got 5th place. We got a 3-way tie there at the end. Bad tiebreakers.
All right, what deck were you playing today, bro?
We're playing the best deck because Synchros are the strongest cards. And so I think everybody already knows it is the Punk deck. The Punk Synchro deck. Without Therions, because every Therion is a brick. And you can't convince me otherwise. So this is the Punk engine. This is there's your brick. You're gonna draw it like half of the games, but it's okay because you run enough punks where you can special it out with its effect from your hand. It's exactly why I ran this ogre dance. It came up last minute. I threw it back into the deck. I had taken it out because it doesn't work very well with the perfect opening, but it fixes the bad openings, and I think that's the problem with this deck is sometimes you actually really need the dark for the banish, and sometimes you need to add the Zayman to normal summon it, so that way you can go into Hulk that way, which feels bad, but it gets you there. Foxtune, insane. That card is probably gonna end up on the ban list. Okay, Magician's Souls engine. Yeah, some people playing these 4 spots. Some people are playing the Sangan and the Arborea here. That's bad. It uses your normal summon. You don't want to use your normal summon at the start of your combo. You want to use it later on so that your normal summon is like an extender, okay? This is really good. Free draws, fixes things, and it lets you go into the extra deck for a card that I think is mandatory in this deck, but a lot of people are not playing. And a lot of times this gives you some side deck space because you can side one of each out, or you can just side, one of them out, like one of the illusions. It gives you some extra room, and this deck has trouble siding because so many of your cards act as part of the combo. Okay, we got these Adventure Monsters. Just these 4. Illegal Knight could be playable. That might actually be a good card. There's some times where you really wish you had it because it's a dark, and you needed a dark to be able to, like a searchable dark to put into the grave, but it would go in that Ogre Dance spot. Ogre Dance is probably better. Second Griffin Rider might actually be good. That's something to test because you're gonna mill your Griffin Rider off Chaos Ruler, and that's gonna feel really bad. Okay, you got these cards. 4, 5. All these cards are limited. Or, well, this is not limited, but everybody's just going to play 1. But all 5 of these should be banned. Absolutely insane. This is always good. A lot of times you draw part of the engine. Doesn't matter. You just bring it out. I took the Rocks Rose. I milled it off Chaos Ruler 2 different times and just added it to the hand because it's fine. You just bring it out, bring out the Red Rose off Hulk and keep going. You just summon it from your hand. It's better than taking other things. It just lets you keep playing. Okay, hand traps. So we're not playing as many hand traps as maybe some of the other people playing this deck. I've seen some lists with like 15 hand traps in a 43 card deck, or 18 hand traps in like a 50 card deck. But I think you just want more extenders, and then you want your hand traps to be very impactful. So like high impact, generic, level 3 tuner, comes up a lot, came up several times today, and then effect veiler because level 1 tuner, light to take, this is free. You almost always get this card for free. Several times I had an effect veiler in hand, I ended up milling a second effect veiler, getting the second one to hand. The opponent is only playing around 1, they don't expect the second one, ends up hurting them really bad. Droll was really strong. I played against a lot of Flunderies today. Droll was really good in the main deck for that. I didn't play a single mirror match or any other Punk Synchro spam deck, but Droll is insane against this deck. I got Drolled a few times, and it hurt really bad. I lost, I think, all of the games I got Drolled. It's very, very strong against this deck. The only problem is it's a wind, and it's level 1, which means it's pretty useless in your opening hand. So all the games that I lost due to bricking had Droll in the opening hand. So, all right, here's this engine. So your venture cards. The only problem with this deck sometimes is you're always putting Draco back into the grave on the first turn, and then 2 minutes later, you find out that your opponent has Mystic Mine in their main deck, and you really wish that you had kept the trigger back. But hey, it's okay. Usually you have enough negates to where you keep the Mystic Mine from resolving. Triple Tactics was a last-minute inclusion. That could have been more hand traps, but I thought Triple Tactics would be better because you can use it to break the board. Cross-out replacement, basically, because I don't think cross-out is good enough in this deck. E-Telly, it's at 3. It's not going to be at 3 forever, so you should probably play this deck while you can. Something tells me this card is going to go back on the list. Called by, card should be banned. It was insane today. I hit D-Shifter, hit Ash, hit Droll, hit everything. It's pretty crazy. And Basil Rose Shoot. This card, it makes me mad. You know, I drew it in my opening hand probably 10 times. But it's okay, because usually you end up using it. It's all right. Side. Do side first. It makes more sense. So, zombie package. I was playing 2 world in testing, but I took the other world out. And it came up once today where I milled the world. It was against Flunderies. I milled world, and my opponent was so happy. He won that game because I couldn't stop him. And if I'd had the Necro Banshee to dump off Shooting Riser, I would have been fine. Dark Ruler no more. Okay, someone give me the 3rd German, because I can't find my 3rd German one. Very good. Really good. This deck, it's not doing anything until the main phase, and most people are still not playing around the Dark Ruler. They're not setting up the hot red correctly. So really good. D-Barrier, really good. This is my going first cards. It's going second for the board, for meta decks, basically. The Synchro and the Fusion decks. Anti-Spell, I put that in every time I went first. There's only 2 of them in here. It would have been 3, but I took the 3rd one out last minute for kind of a strange side deck card. But it was good. I drew it once. Milled it a lot. 3 Cyclone. I don't think Twin Twister is the right call in this deck, because if your opponent has any hand traps, to play through them, you usually end up using every card in your hand, because all your cards are extenders, and so you end up using all of them. And if you have Twin, you know, if they have 2 back row, that's sweet, but a lot of times people are passing on just 1 back row, or they're just Mystic Mine, or their back rows are chainable. And so it feels really bad when you discard that card, and then you wish you would have just had Cyclone, and then you could have used that other card as an extender. Only problem is the paying life, but what are you going to do? It was really good against the last round, where I played against the craziest deck ever. What's it called? Weather Painters?
Yeah.
Played against Weather Painters last round. And that deck is actually kind of crazy. If they go first and set up their spells and traps, that field spell plus that link monster they have is actually insane. It could actually be a good deck. Token Collector, just dump this off Shooting Riser, or you mill it. It's a good card. I think everybody knows. I just chose to play the 1 because you just dump it. You don't need to open this card. And the 15th side deck card is a Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. This is because if you play against more of like a control deck, like Eldritch or Sky Striker, Mystic Mine, Turbo, the games take forever. And then they know that you can't win in time because your combo requires paying life when you go first. So if there's only a minute or 2 left, you can just make this card, blow up your whole board, burn for 2k. There you go. So it only came up once today. Yeah, about 2 minutes left in time. I go first. The guy is like picking up his stuff, getting his pen, putting the deck slip in the middle. He's like telling me how, because he thinks I'm about to lose because I'm gonna pay. I paid life. As soon as I paid life, picked up the deck slip. He's about to sign it. I said, hold on, well, let me summon this card out of my extra deck first and burn, so that I actually win, even though I paid 6. Pretty cool. And here's extra deck, right? So this card was bad. It should have probably been good, but it was bad. I think this is probably the replaceable card. Anima instead of Link Rebo. This didn't come up today at all. I attempted it twice, but both times it got negated to steal their monster. Access Code and Celine, very good, but strangely enough, I only made it twice today, and I lost both those games. Because you just don't put enough link attributes in the grave. All your guys are the same attribute, so you don't get very many pops. Dag to Hulk for the Scythe Lock, very strong. Yeah, just got banned today on the OCG ban list. Probably gonna get banned here in a few months. Zombie Vampire, very good card. Don't ever make it game one if you don't know what your opponent's playing. It's not worth it. You're gonna mill their cards and they're gonna thank you for it. Psychic End Towers, it's a good card. I only made it once, it didn't work. They had a Solemn for it. Shooting Riser, very strong. It's part of the turn 1 combo. Dump Snow. Best card in the extra deck. Very good card. My second favorite card in the extra deck. Insane. I negated 6 or 7 Dark Rulers today with this card because I always had something else to chain. Yeah, pretty good. Especially because people main deck in Dark Ruler now. It's very surprising. And yeah, so the Baron, obvious, very good. Try to make this on the first turn. Herald, try to make this before you even go into your Hulk so that most of the hand traps no longer work against it. It's pretty easy. You just use an E-Telly and a Souls. And that sounds like it wouldn't come up, but it happens like most of your games. Sometimes you go into it with Red Rose and Souls. If you couldn't do it before the Hulk, you get the Hulk, you bring out the Red Rose, use Souls, boom, that's pretty good. Because they're waiting the nib you. They're waiting the nib you on the Dagda. But then you bring this out and then they can't nib you. So. And Cheng Ying. This is a very strong card. Very strong. I'll not many people playing this in this deck. I think it's probably deserves a spot because if you do the combo, you're making Baron on your first turn. But then you have Scythe and Wonder Musician on your opponent's turn. You don't want to just leave those there. That's not good. It's not worth it. So you need another level 10 to go into, and this is the best one. It's actually pretty good because if you open a good hand, you're going to dump Snow. This turns Snow into a book and banish 2. Turns Called by into a banish. And on your turn, you almost always have a Water Enchantress in the grave, so then you just banish Water Enchantress to break their board, which people don't think about. You know, they don't negate the effect like they probably should. Yeah, that's good. Good cards.
Are you getting shout outs today?
Yeah, let's give some shout outs to the side deck. They held this regional. They hold a lot of regionals. They do a pretty good job. It's running pretty fast, pre-registered, so you don't fill the paperwork. It's good. Much better than it used to be. Shout outs to the St. Louis Yu-Gi-Oh community, Yeti Gaming, Mystic TCG, and the Collector Store. We got the Collector Store regional. It's on the 18th. It's next weekend. Hopefully a lot of people will come out. It's a good place, good people. Yeah, everybody should try to come on out. Have more people than we had here today. Okay. And shout out to Matt here. He rode with me. He lent me some cards. Shout out to the guy that I was able to get a Baron from before the tournament started because that card is like imaginary. Everyone says that they only have one. It's crazy. And now I only have one too. So I'm part of the problem. No one has that card available. It's really hard to find it. So yeah. Yeah, and that's it. Oh, shout out to the Wise Guys. Check out the YouTube channel. Have some other deck profiles up there. Got deck discussions, got player interviews, and more content coming, and some memes. Everybody likes memes.
Oh God, yes. All right, this is Gavin signing out. Peace.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right